Alright, we have a spray sealing video using the KRYLON UV resistant clear and gloss. I believe it also comes in matte. And let's see what it does. Okay, this is the Koala printable vinyl here. Let's see if it changes the holographic nature of the surface at all. This one doesn't really need to get spray sealed. The media is relatively fixed to the surface, including the brilliance white down here and the impressions along with the colored pencil, but spray sealing it just to test it out. But it looks like the holographic reflective colors and everything like that are intact. It looks pretty good. Right now, this one is the silver foil. Very different surface than the printable vinyl. Media is not fixed to the surface, which means the StazOn is fixed, but not the brilliance white in this area, in the reflected area. Okay, so we're going to have to spray seal that. And this one, the spray sealing kind of creates a little bit of a continuity, I think, between the applications of the cutout pieces here and the applications of the media on the silver foil. I thought it looked pretty cool, but there was a little bit of a, kind of a change in surface, I don't know, relative glossiness between the silver and the pieces on the cardstock. Alright, let's see, we don't have too many pieces to go through. I'll try to get through this fairly quickly. I'm doing this spray sealing outside. You always want to spray seal outdoors to not inhale the fumes here. Okay, now this is on just a plain, I believe it's the Hamilco semi-gloss cardstock, okay, with mostly colored pencils. It has a, I believe I gave these ones a base coat of some, I believe it was the Distress Antique Linen dye-based ink. It's going to be loud out here with the dogs and stuff like that, not our dogs. Always drives me nuts. But probably a good watchdog in the neighborhood. Okay, so anyways, this is the colored pencils. It doesn't really need to be spray sealed, but you know, it's good for a little bit of protection. I just gave it a light coating like this. With something like a matte, you know, like a semi-gloss, it's closer to matte, so sometimes it's better to spray seal with something like a workable fixative, or if you have a matte spray, you know, something like that to retain kind of the, you know, the basic characteristic of the surface that you're spraying. You know, if you like that matte look. Sometimes you're just using the matte just because the dry media will adhere to it, but maybe like a glossier coating that gives it more of a kind of a printed postcard look. So you can get the best of both worlds in some ways. You know, if you really want a glossier look to it, it's not going to be like a glossy cardstock, but alright, that dog's starting to drive me nuts a little bit. Bear with me here, and the dog. Okay, now this is on a gold cardstock with the reverse impression style of stamping. That's black brilliance on the outside, black brilliance applied to a gold foil cardstock will not dry until you spray seal it. And even when it's dry on there, or I should say it dries, but it doesn't adhere until you spray seal it. So you can see a lot of fingerprints going on around it, but we'll fix the media to the surface. It doesn't really change the characteristic of the look of it. You know, that black Brilliance ink doesn't really get any darker or anything like that. Maybe a touch darker, but you know, for the most part, you're just affixing that type of media to the surface, but it really retains the characteristic of the look that you're creating with that type of reverse impression stamping. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I applied the black brilliance down on the surface, and then what I did was I stamped into the surface using a dry, clean rubber stamp. Okay, now on this one right here, it just has a touch of the black brilliance ink. Oh, roly-poly, we don't want to spray seal that guy. We want to affix that little streaky, kind of shoe polishy look up in the sky to the surface, okay? And that is, I think that's the silver foil that I used up there. I'm not sure. Could be the holographic. Oh, let's see, let's get a little bit down here, and then that's the gold down there. With this cutout of the lakeside cabin and foreground ledge with rocks. And this is a mirror card, so you see that reflection of the cabin down there. I usually look at it like that, and you see that water line down there. Okay. This one, no, okay, this one's the Recollections holographic up there. But see, I've really kind of smudged over the top of it, so you don't see too much of that. You just see a little tinge of that color up there. And that dog, anytime those people leave, it's a good watchdog, but it also puts everyone on alert that those people are gone from the house. Anytime they leave, it's just like non-stop barking. I heard it's because dogs think that the owners kind of left and they're not coming back, so they're kind of panicking. Okay, these are 4 cards. I don't recall what these ones were about, sorry. It's getting a little bit breezy, so my pieces are kind of flying around. I'm doing this in the kind of late morning here. Never fails once I start spray sealing it. The wind kicks up. It knows that I'm spray sealing, so wind kicks up. Okay, these are on a semi-gloss cardstock, okay? But let's see if we can get some of that color popping, especially in those kind of multicolored leaves up top. Yeah, much better. See the difference between that green and that one over there? So these are dye-based inks, so you can really benefit from a good spray sealing. Doesn't really affect the colored pencils, but any type of saturated tones that tend to mute out a little bit with the surface that you're using kind of comes back with the spray sealant, if not makes it even more intense than what it looked like when it was freshly stamped. You can get a little bit more intensity down here. That's colored pencils, but I have that undercoat of probably alcohol inks or something like that in there, and maybe some dye-based inks, I'm not sure. I don't remember what that video was on. Okay, let's see. So as you're doing this, I recommend kind of having like a box or two like this, and then when you're letting these dry, just lay them in like so, like that, but don't put them on top of one another. It's already pretty dry. I already have an ant walking around on it. It's not like he's sticking to the surface. Okay. Okay. Now these next ones are the ones that I'm really curious about. And these ones are the latest holographic vinyl. I mean, not vinyl, but foil. Okay, and I've used some black brilliance on them, on the perimeter, in this vignette type of effect, but look how crazy colorful these are, like that. So let's see if we can spray seal these and retain that really cool holographic look by putting a layer of clear acrylic over the top of it. I'm going to hit it mostly on the perimeter like this. Inevitably you're going to get some overspray in the center, but we'll kind of hit it around the corners like that. And I'm careful about buildup too, so I don't want to get, you know, like a big, you know, dripping blob of this on there. Okay, spray seal, that takes a couple seconds to dry, but let's take a look. It should, you know, we should be able to tell, you know, how that's going to affect it. I don't think it affected it at all. We still have that nice, super crazy holographic kind of light pillars type of effect going on. Let's take a look at this one here. Yeah, no problem with the spray sealing. I wouldn't spray seal it with a super thick layer. I don't know what that would do. I guess I could test it on just a blank piece of this foil. But it looks like we have, you know, those cool kind of looks on this foil. No problem. Alright, so that was it. This little handle, I always get asked about that. This is called something like a, I don't know, like an easy grip spray paint can holder. It's just easier to pull the trigger like this than always going like this. If you have one card, you know, spray sealing like that's no big deal, but I'd always recommend one of these types of things. It just pops right on there. And, you know, if you don't break that kind of connecting part right there, you can use it for, I don't know, you can use it forever in theory. I've broke a few, though, because I've spray sealed, I don't know, probably thousands of pieces. Not in the same can, but over time. Alright, so anyways, hope you enjoyed the video, and spray sealing, always recommended. Oops, I had one more piece here. I was just going to let it go, but this one's really going to change here because of all the tones that are used up here. Let's do, since this is elongated, well, let's do it like this here. I'm just going to turn it on its side, like this, because I can get a little bit closer. And let's do a left side, right side comparison right here. So let me spray seal this right side. Watch how these blues change in here. I'm going to zoom in quite a ways here. Okay, there we go. Hope you were able to see that intensity increase right there. Let's do it up here now. Let's see, let me get on the other side of the camera. Oops. Sorry about that. Okay, let's see. See that real intense blue down there now? I don't know, I'd say the intensity level went up, I don't know, maybe 20%, 15-20% in these areas, so you get a really good saturation and the colors look so much deeper. The more colors that you layer down like that, the more benefit you get from spray sealing like something like this. If you have like one color, it'll increase the intensity of it a little bit, but it really brings out the depth when you have multiple layers in there. Okay, that is the spray sealing video. Thanks for watching.